matter. It's all the same. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn me off because I think people who keep their pictures in are just a distraction. So let's go ahead and transition. I think I can go like that, and that should do it. Okay, let me double check to make sure that's happening there and that we have all of the screen that's capturing in here. I don't know why so many other streamers have this issue. I believe that uh, they don't know how to use the software. Anyway, okay, so here we are. If you want, the first thing I like to do is go to the help, window and workspace, and then we like to reset to essentials. Okay. So when you do that, you have your basic layout for all of your panels and your toolbar. And here's your toolbar. Now, I like to put my toolbar over here. And if you ask any of my students, they will tell you that I have a specific way to put tools. Now, that's not to say it is to do it differently is wrong. This is just the way I like to do it. And I have to stress getting your toolbars and your palettes correct and put where you want it because you don't want to be looking for your tools. And that's the first thing that I tell students. So get your panels right here. So for example, you're going to need your transform. You know that. You know that because anybody, or even if you have even been on Microsoft Word, uh, basically all you have are the same thing. You have text tool, you have transform where you resize it, and a selection tool. And these are basically it. Now, the new jokers in the deck are the pen tool, the rectangle tool, and basically a whole load of new things, and including the bone tool, which once we get into the advanced courses, you'll be able to make really awesome animations that look natural, like arms and legs walking naturally. So this is a good place to start if you have a dream of going into motion graphics here in Los Angeles. I teach After Effects as well. I'll have those links later. If you'd like to donate to the cause here, uh, davcomcj at aol.com is the email. At PayPal, you can go ahead and send a donation, and that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so back to the tutorial. Now, some of this stuff belongs basically here on the edge, like the library. Your library is very important because we will be making what's called symbols. And we'll get into that later after we finish with the basics. Technically right now we have hit 12 o'clock and the tutorial has begun, excuse me. As you can see, I haven't been broadcasting in a long time, so excuse me if I'm kind of like flawed at the live thing. Okay, so here we are. We have our tool palettes. We have our design palettes, if you will. Now, you can go ahead and you can go through all of the documentation and you can walk through their introductions and everything. And I would strongly suggest you do because it takes a little bit more supplement learning that you can find right here at the click of a button and you can get whatever answers you need. Don't forget, you can go to Flash Help on F1 if you're stumped and you run into a wall. And for God's sakes, people, if you run into a wall, just relax, walk away, just go eat, go watch House of Cards or something or whatever it is you like to watch, take your mind off of it, come back, and you'll get it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so you can also go to Flash Help, which is F1, key command F1. I don't know why that one didn't open or it's taking forever. However, you can see there's all kinds of help getting started, new features, and all of these cool things you can access on the welcome screen. If you don't want the welcome screen, you can click Don't Show Again, and it won't. Basically, when we get to this, it'll be creating a new document with ActionScript 3.0. Don't worry about anything else. The only thing we need is that. Okay, as you can see, I'm jumping all over the place, but what we have here is now our own little user layout or your own workspace, okay? Now, some of this stuff here you do not need, all right? So I don't need code snippets now. That's for ActionScript. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to make it go away. Or if you want, you can consolidate these and just keep them together here. Now, the timeline is your most important asset here because this will let you know about your animations, and we'll get to that in a minute. There's just so much I know. Okay, come over here. Click this puppy out here. This is your project. We can keep that with your library. So properties, which tell you everything that you need about any particular object, will be found here. Your library, which will include movie clips, buttons, or graphics, I believe, are here. And you can do all kinds of cool things here. So let's jump in. Once you get your workspace, you go to Window, Workspace, New Workspace. Okay. Alrighty, go there. And then I will put my name, CJ's Workspace. Say okay. Very good, very good. Okay, so I'll let everybody get caught up and we will check to see if we want to either create a new document from here, or if you want to go to File, New Document, and you'll get the same thing, except you'll get templates back here, and you can get into that later once we get past the basics. Okay, so this is your basic default. If you want to go with pixels, you can go with pixels. If you want to go with inches, you can go with inches. 7.64 is usually the basic, by 5.56 is the basic default layout, and this is already the default. The description right here, you can change this. This is my first Flash document. Woohoo! I guess you have to create it first. Okay, here we go. Control J still is your document settings. Document settings 7.64 by 5.56. Wow, adjust 3D perspective angle to preserve current stage projection. Ooh, we got some cool 3D stuff in here. As you can see, I haven't touched Flash since CS5, I think. This is CS6. So yeah, they got some really cool things in here. You can also change your frame rate if you want to slower at 12. But we'll stick with 24 for the moment, and I'll show you why. Say okay. Okay, now here's the timeline, and I am kind of used to it being on top. See if we can pull that on top. And here's how you can change your mind at any given moment. And you can do this any way you want. So yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so now I can go back and change the workspace and save the workspace. Reset it? Oh, fine. Okay. I thought it was going to add it. No problem. Okay. Now the first thing you want to do here is you want to get your rulers, which is right here. Usually it's Control R in every other application, but still, even in Flash CS6, it is this long-winded key command. If you want to learn it, Control Alt Shift R. Let's do that now. Control Alt Shift R. There are our rulers. Okay, fine. First thing, save as. Okay, so you probably are opened up to this default thing here called documents, okay? And don't be fooled. You don't want that, okay? So just go to your desktop, make a new folder, and say Flash tutorial. Okay, call this uh, tutorial 1. Easy enough. Or you can even practice your underscore. Shift dash gives you an underscore. 1. FLA. Okay, so there's the Flash tutorial. Open up your folder. Name your document. Tutorial underscore 1.fla. It will automatically save it as a Flash CS6, and you can also notice you can even save it as CS6 uncompressed document, CS 5.5, 5.5, 5 point, etc., all the way down the line. So yeah, okay, so save that, bang. Now you can tell that it's been saved by looking at it right here in the upper corner, left corner, and you'll see this tab that says what you saved it as, tutorial underscore 1.fla. And so let us begin. First thing we want to do is we want to introduce ourselves to the layers palette, which I did not. I was rude and I did not bring out the layers palette. Where is the layers palette? Because we have to keep our layers. Ah, there it is. See, I'm not used to it being up there or down there. Fine, dandy. But we can get rid of this stuff down here. We don't need this yet. All right, fine. All right, so here's our layers. And the first thing we want to do, we're going to make a beach background or even a picnic background with strange flying objects, if you wish. Okay, so first thing we got to have is our lawn, I suppose. Okay. Now, as you recall, we can go to properties. There it is. Why they don't have properties down here, I don't know. I always like my properties right there. See? Okay. So now you should be able to change the color of the background with the properties. So we're looking for a beautiful sky, beautiful day, right about, I don't know, fine. No. Now don't get hung up on, ooh, looks like it's a bad moon rising. Okay, fine. Don't get hung up with spending a whole lot of time picking out one color, okay? Because if you do that, then all of your time is going to go to not designing. I've seen people like take 10 minutes on figuring out whether or not they want to name a document. And by the time that happens, you know, their time is up. Okay, so be frugal with your time. It is mostly, almost always money. Okay. So what you have here is now you have your document. Now what I like to do is pull out a guideline from the ruler. Okay, I'll do that again. And if you want to make it disappear, you just go like that. Now, they always default these guidelines with a color blue. You can go here, right click, scroll down, and go to Guides, Edit Guides. Because you can see, if I put this against that blue, of course, that's the color, yeah. I can change that to a fiery red to contrast the background. Say OK, don't worry about that, keep it as normal or Abby normal. And we'll go here, and then we'll pull this one down. And the reason I do this is because you may have a background that's going to overlap your edges. And when that happens, you don't know where your stage starts and where it stops. Okay, by the way, this is the stage. I know, I just jump right in. Okay, this is your timeline. Okay, this is your motion area where if you add a keyline, a keyframe, a keyframe to, like, let's say frame 50, this is a frame, you can either press F6, which will add a keyframe here. And now, in this instance, there is no object on the keyframes, either on the first one or on the last one. And therefore, there is nothing there. This here is just a background here. This is part of your document. This has no image or object on it whatsoever. Okay, so now we're going to take the pen tool for the lawn. Make sure you select that right there, empty keyframe. Here is your pen tool. And it's always good to start off with the strangest one. Now, in order to get the color we're looking for, we're going to have to go here and grab a nice green lawn. We're going to have it filled with another green, like that. So, if I click here, and I go here, and I go here and hold it, and go here, and click here. I know it's tough to see. Control J. Let's go ahead and make this black. Background color. Okay, that's better. I know. Every time you pick a color, man, it matches the background or whatever it is you're doing. Okay, so still, you can let go of this thing, and it will continue to hold your setting. In other words, it's ready to continue. Okay, so once you get out, you can see that you can just go here and then just make a square, because basically all you're doing here is you're going to fill this. Once you select it with the selection tool, this is the subselection tool. Subselection tool works with the pen tool. Basically, they are brothers. Once you create it with the pen tool, which I just did, you can go ahead and select it with the subselection tool. And the key command for that is A. The key command for the selection tool is V. Okay. Alrighty. So now we have this path. This is a path. The pen tool just created a path for us. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to make these hills. Control plus zooms you in. Control minus zooms you out. Control plus. There you go. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to either grab a handle and make those hills a little bit more curvy. And so you go like that. Isn't it better that you can see the lines now that we've contrasted them against the black? I know, man. Okay, so now I'm going to need another hill here. And the way I do that, or the way everybody does it, is you want to go to the pen tool here, and you want to add an anchor point. Okay, and you want to go right here, and you click A, and you grab that anchor point, and then you stretch it like that. Grab the handle, go like that, pull it up like so. And if we want another anchor point, again, add anchor point, pen tool, click it, hold it, scroll right, and let's put in a little mini hill over here. Go to A, direct select tool, or subselection tool. In Illustrator, it's called the direct select tool. It's the same thing. I don't know why. You know, I've been using the software for 15 years, plus 16, I guess, 17, I don't know. But the weird thing is that it's the same thing on every application you use, and yet they call it something different. I don't know what the deal is. I think it's a joke. Those nerds over there at Adobe, they say, how can we mess with these designers a little bit more? Call the same exact product or whatever. Okay, good enough. So now what we're going to do is grab the selection tool and we hold the space bar, control minus, select the whole thing, and then fill it with a color. Oops. Let's go ahead and change it to a symbol, convert the symbol. And we're going to call this lawn. And we're just going to keep it a graphic. Say OK. Okay. Now, you notice in your library, when you create a new symbol, it shows up here. This means that you can reuse this over and over in this project or other projects. So this is very important. You always want to keep an eye on your library. Notice that it has the same name as our document. So if we have like a whole bunch of documents open here, like one from last week, this is new. Don't show again. Sure, go ahead. Okay, so if you have one from last week and you scroll down, you'll see the project, and you can import these items, these symbols, to use in another project, like the one that we did before. Okay, and I'll show you about that in a bit. Okay, so if we double click this, or right click, scroll down to edit, we should be able to fill this puppy with a fill. Let's see if we can. There we go. Oh no, do you know what I did? I goofed. Anybody in my classes will tell you, CJ, you can't do it until you put on object drawing mode. Oh, I fell for it on my own software. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Let's go ahead and get rid of this puppy. Yeah. Any students that are watching this like are laughing at me going, ha, it happened to you today. Okay, so we go ahead and make sure this object drawing mode is on. Excuse me, because if you don't, then you get what just happened to me. You cannot fill it, you can't drag it without it falling apart. It simply is just baloney. Okay, so now when I go here, I'm just going to make the pen tool. All right, and grab the selection tool. And now we can fill this with something, a purple lawn. There we go, fine, dandy. Again, with the sub-selection tool, anchor point tool. Hey, what happened? You can change the shape. Basically, look at it as a shapeshifter. This is like really cool. When you get to more advanced programs like, well, this is about as advanced as you can get, you'll be able to see the similarities and the diversity of using the paths, the anchor points. The pen tool is going to be your best friend. I know it's scary right now. It is for everybody. It was for me. But, you know, as you can see, if you make a mistake, you could just go back and fix it. I mean, I don't feel foolish anymore because these things happen. They're machines. They do what you want them to do. And if you don't do it correctly, you just go back and do it again. Okay? It's forgiving. Don't worry about it. Okay. So here's the lawn. Awesome. It took us, what, 10 minutes to do that? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I fell for my old trick. Make sure object drawing mode is on. So if you click the rectangle, the oval tool, and any of your drawing tools, pen tool, you'll get this option right here. You may want to write this down because you can see it's very easy to forget. I just did. Now, the reason it's easy to forget is because once you click it, you don't have to worry about clicking it again. It stays there forever and ever. You could do 100 jobs like this. Well, not like this, but you know what I'm saying. In case I'm not talking fast enough, there's more coffee. Okay, let's continue to make a new layer. On your layers section, you can go ahead and put a new layer in. And we're going to call this one bird, because we're going to create a bird flying in the sky. Now, when we get to the frame 50, as you slide your playhead across, you notice that our lawn disappears. So I can go ahead and go here in this empty keyframe and press F6. Excuse me. Remove this frame. Remove them. Because when I pull this one here, this one will give me all the way from 1 to 50, my lawn. So don't steal my lawn. Alrighty now, on with the bird. Ah, you're saying, CJ, I thought this was a beautiful day. How come we're at black midnight? Well, if you're a gothic person like I am, this is a beautiful day. Just kidding. Control J, background color, and let's go ahead and go back to our mainstream. Beautiful day. Okay, there we are. And we're going to go ahead and work on the birdies. Spacebar allows you to move your stage. Look at the power you have with one hand. With one finger, you can move an entire stage. Awesome, isn't it? Okay, Control S saves your work, or file, save. You'll want to do as many key commands as you possibly can, so that if you're trying to get a job doing this and the employer sees you using key commands, boom, 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 that's it. You know what you're doing. You're a pro. Okay, so use them as much as possible. Okay, so first thing we got to do, whenever you're going to make anything like I did on the lawn, you want to select the empty keyframe, which is right there. Let me zoom in here. This is your timeline options palette, and you can find this right here at the very right-hand corner of your timeline. Okay, if you don't see your timeline, go to Window, Timeline, and all of your valuable toolbars, your main, everything are all right here. Library, right there. Properties, I like to keep mine down here. Timeline, right here. And then the project, the stage, right there. So what we're going to do here is right-click on the timeline, and we're going to go to Medium. Okay. Now, you can see right here that it lets us see these frames. So there's a frame here, there's a frame here, there's a frame here, there's a frame here. The advantage is that you can see everything really clearly. The disadvantages is that you have to scroll here to see everything like that. So you'll probably do what I do every now and then and try to squeeze these together to try to see everything, and it's not going to work, as you can see. Or you can do this and push this over here a little bit more. And there, we got it. Now, we're only going up to frame 50. And then you can get used to this by just looking around. Get familiar with the software. It's cool software. It'll make you money. Okay, so now you can see we have our two layers. The lawn is done. Oh, and if you click this, the lawn is done. You can turn the lawn off. Visibility. This is your visibility. Show or hide all layers. Okay. So if it's bugging you, or if you want to lock it down while you're designing, you can lock down that layer, because now it won't work. Now, the lawn won't work today. Okay, so the bird, get back on your empty keyframe, back on that empty keyframe, and then we're just going to go over here to the rectangle tool, and then we're going to click it. Oh, hang on. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Let's go ahead and go to the oval tool and go here and click a round oval thing. As you can see, the fill has it so that it's a green against that. Control plus zooms you in. Okay? Now, right now, I'm not going to worry about any of this stuff because the first thing we have to do is convert this to a symbol so that we have motion or a movie clip. So you can either right-click, scroll down to Convert to a symbol, or you can press F8, also known as Fate, is the way I remember it, and be sure to type movie clip or scroll down to movie clip. And we'll call this bird. Okay. Aha, looky there into your library where it is located as bird. Again, we want to edit this bird to give it a more dimensional flight. So we're going to go here, go to Edit, or you can just double click on it. Bam. Okay. So how do we know that we're editing the bird, the movie clip bird, the bird movie clip? Well, you can see right here, this is our editing bar. This has all of the information that we need to tell us that we're editing, like we're in a different room, okay? Now we're in the editing room with the text, okay? Because we're going to build this bird. We're in the special effects room, okay? Now, this new symbol now is subject to more editing. So if I double click again, we're now in object drawing, which means now, excuse me, we can take our colors. I like to take my color palette right here and just choose another color if I want. Okay, you can adjust this bird, and you can change the stroke color to none if you want. Okay. But be sure to select it, otherwise nothing happens if you don't. Excuse me. Okay, great, awesome. So now I'm going to go back to the bird. The bird is the word. And put my color palette back. You're going to be doing this forever and ever, so get used to throwing those palettes back and forth. All right, so now we're going to hold Alt twice on this bird or body. Okay, double click this one, and we're editing this one. You can see we're in drawing object editing. There's the bird. Everything is like transparent or whatever, has an opacity. I can't touch it because it's over there in that room now. Excuse me. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to change this wing to a different color. So you can either pull out your palette like this and go here and give it a kind of a weird kind of a thing. Kind of a weird kind of a thing. And for shins and grits, we can go ahead and go to our sub selection tool and mess with the anchor points. Sort of like give it kind of a wingish kind of a thing, You know, here's another wingish kind of a thing. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time because we're just learning the basics. Get out of the way. Get out of my way. Here I come. And it looks like the bat wing, doesn't it? This is basically how you do it, folks. It's not that hard. And then you go like that. It totally looks like the bat wing. Okay, fine. We'll get sued. All right. There we go. That's close enough, all right? So we go back to the Boyd. The Boyd is the Boyd. Let's get rid of this other guy here. This one can go. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because we can go Alt and we'll have another wing that looks better. Okay? So now we got two wings. All right? Right click. Scroll down to free transform. Now, the cool thing is, if you want to put this thing behind the body, you can go right click. Notice how I right click all the time. Arrange, send to back. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and move it so that it pivots next to the shoulder of the bird. Okay. So the only way we can do that is to take this center point right here oops, excuse me, select the wing that we just sent to the back. Okay. Grab the center point here, or rotation point, whatever you want to call it, and put it here on so that it rotates right there. So now we got a Boyd that rotates one wing on one side. Okay. Good enough, huh? Oh, okay. So we're going to lock that puppy down. Oops. This has to go on a separate layer. Cut. Make a new layer. This layer is... Actually, we'll keep it on the same layer. You have the choice of either putting these on different layers or not. You always have a choice. The choice is yours. All right, let's do the same thing for this one here. Yeah, the only thing, like I say, do not spend forever and a day making a decision. As you can see, I have a choice. I can either put these on layers, or I can go ahead and put the animation on the same layer. I choose to keep it on the same layer, and I'll show you why. Okay, don't forget, let's go ahead and put our rotation point toward the shoulder of the Boyd. Okay. All right. So now we're going to need 3 states of flight for this Boyd. Okay. Oh, don't forget, if you want, you can also put a head on this bird if you want. Don't forget, you can finish designing the bird if you want. The bird is the word. Okay, so let's go ahead and give him a nice normal head, I guess, for a bird. That's fine. Eyeballs. As you can see, I'm going to duplicate that and then just go to my swatches palette right here, right there. Boy, that's tiny, isn't it? Let's see if we can view this a little bigger. It doesn't appear to be so. Okay, fine. Grab any gradient. Probably that one would work. Oops. What the? Edit, redo. Fine. There we go. There you go. Now we can get the eyeball. Now, that eyeball is a little bit too big, as you can see. So we'll shrink it up and give him like psychotic eyeballs if you want. And I'll show you how to create different eyeballs and all that. Control plus zooms you in. That's a really intense looking bird, I know. Okay, it's symbolic. Yeah, and then you can rotate with your free transform tool. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm already doing like anime and cyberpunk animation already. Wait till we get into some Illustrator. You're gonna go nuts. Okay, so now all we need now is a beak. All right, so we have a choice. We can either draw a beak on him with the pen tool, as you can see. Da, 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 da. I think this is going to be called a green beak. If you want to make a curvature, hold it and go like so. Like so. Okay? That stroke is a little too intense. Where is the properties? Well, you can do that later. Okay, so we can go there, we can go there, and so there you go. Now, we can go ahead and change it to a normal beak color, I suppose, and get rid of the stroke at the same time. But you can only do it on colors or here down on your tools palette. So here we are with stroke right here. I want none of it. Thank you. Now we do want to use the line tool and change the stroke to black, because all we're going to do is divide that beak into 2 parts. Oops, the stroke is obnoxious. Now it's time to select it with the selection tool and width, we're going to say 0.25. Oops. Oh, here we go. They put it here in CS6. Okay, 0.25. Thank you. All right, so get your color palettes and your swatches out of here. You can just put them back there. Let's go ahead and group the beak. Control G, I believe, is modify. You can group. Okay, so now it's 1. So now instead of having the triangle and right click, free transform, so he doesn't look deformed and mutated. Put the beak there. Okay, and we can do some 3D stuff later on if you want. All right. Okay, so we have a really strange looking bird. All right, now Control S, save your work. Always save your work. Now, as far as these wings go, you have many options. We can go ahead and make them a little bit bigger and rotate them a little bit more. Pull this one up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the first motion of our bird, meaning this first keyframe is going to allow us to be in the upright position. As you know, birds have basically 3 positions for animation: the up position, the down position or middle selection, and all the way down. For example, if we go all the way up on the first one, and then we choose the second wing all the way up on this one, probably there. Let's go ahead and change this to a different color. Let's put a stroke on this so that we can see it. Does it have a stroke on it? It will. Fine, dandy. Okay. Possibly not. Okay. So what we're going to do now is go to another keyframe. Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me. All right. F6. New keyframe. That means that the next shoe to drop will be the middle area. Okay. Grab this one, and it goes down to the middle section. Okay. So now we have up, we have down, and then we go to the third, of course, is the lower extremity below. So again, right here, you'll see it turn round like so, and then you just go down like this. Do the same thing with this one. Free transform, if you're not there already, is the only way you're going to get this puppy. All right, so here we go. There you go. And so we have the mid, up, down, and we can go down probably a lot further than that. Let's go ahead and minus. So let's bring this guy down all the way here. Bring this one all the way down there. That's a funky bird. This one comes here, and then this one, you want to deselect, then select your wings. Because Flash gives you wings, bro. All right. There we go. So you go here, you go there, you go there. All right. So now we got a bird in motion. However, he's just sitting here. He's not moving anywhere. He's just flapping his wings, spinning your wheels. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can have time to make a bike as well in a moment. Okay. So here we are on scene 1, control minus, control minus. Now, you can see right here we have one full keyframe right there. It's got an object in it. It is our movie clip. It's our bird. Okay, so we want to make it so that the bird is flying from here to over here. So we go to keyframe 50, F6, and we have a keyframe there. Actually, let's go ahead and put a motion tween. Okay. What's this? Okay. And then select the last keyframe on frame 50, and then you can go like this. And you're like, well, what is that? What does that do, CJ? I don't get it. All you did was just watch this. Scrub your playhead. Oopsie daisy. Oh, it gave me a boo-boo. Remove this frame. Insert your keyframe here on the last one, I believe. Redo. Okay. If you have this issue, which you probably will, you're going to want to remove the whole frame. Insert a keyframe. Sometimes that happens. Flash is tricky, man. F6. Grab your Boyd. Okay. Put it there. Now put it. Insert your keyframe. See, what happens is that if you insert the keyframe before you put your object or your clip or whatever it is you're putting on there on the stage, you have that kind of issue. So we create the motion tween. Oh, I got it now. Create classic tween. There we go. So now we go to the last one. Now we have motion. I forgot classic tween will do it for you. Control S, save your work, and then Control Enter or Control Test Movie. And then you have that. Yeah. Okay. So let's say you want to make a bicycle. Actually, let's go ahead and paint a little. I know I'm all over the place. All right, new layer, tree. Double click it. Tree. All right, so let's go ahead and grab the brush tool. What color are trees? They're usually brown, right? And down here, you can grab the size of the brush on your tool bar. Okay. So you go here. It's not bad, maybe a little bigger. Yeah, that's fine. And then you can change the shape. So if I go like this, go like this, and probably choose a different color. And of course, this is what they call art these days, I suppose. Well, whatever you want to call it. And then you can add more colors and vibrance and whatever you wish. And again, the best thing about art is that it's whatever you want it to be. You know, it's maybe something like this. Actually, you can't see those. All right, so perhaps. All right, fine. Let's put a hat on it. Go to your oval tool and just draw the top of the. That's it. Believe it or not. Oh, they're probably green, right? No doubt. So there you go. Control minus. Okay, so let's put some text on this puppy. All right. So there's the tree, and as you can see, we don't have to do a whole lot with it. Once you put a keyframe, you can go ahead and just leave the last one empty because it doesn't move. In some of my animations, the trees move, and I think they did in Guardians of the Galaxy. But we'll get to all that later. Okay. So now, if you want, you can use your key command tools and pull the tree down. This would be arrow key down, arrow key up, arrow key right, arrow key left. Da, 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 da. All right. Let's make some poofy clouds. New layer. Clouds. Okay. Be sure you select your empty keyframe first. Grab the rectangle tool. Oval tool. And of course, you'll have the same color that we had last time. And we can change that right here in our color palette to white. I don't need a stroke, so I'll take that off. And then we can free transform. Hold Alt for another cloud. Hold Alt for another cloud. Hold Shift to select them all. Hold Alt again. And then you can flip it around. Oops. Holding Alt saves you another key command from pretty much doing more than you need. Okay, good enough. Now, if we want, we could turn this into let's go ahead and turn it into floating. Let's go ahead, insert motion tween, insert keyframe, and of course, create classic tween. All right, so here's where they are when they start out. There's where our bird's going to fly, probably over them. Now, oops, we can, that's fine. Let's just go ahead and do weird things to it like that. Then when they scrub your playhead, we'll probably want to go the other way. And then this one comes over here like so. So you can switch them around. But notice that when you start, it's going to give you an animation. Hopefully. So press Enter, and voila. If you want it to keep going, go to Control, Loop Playback, and it'll go forever and a day. Awesome. Press Enter to stop it. And let's put the bird over the tree and the cloud layer. So now when they pass, you'll see that they don't need each other. If you do Control Enter, you'll see we have more motion. You want to slow it down, you say. Control J lets you go to 15 frames per second. Say OK. Control Enter. And we slowed it down. Okay. I got 10 minutes left. Let's make one more layer with a bicycle. New layer. Bicycle or bike. Press Enter. Now, if everything gets in your way, like it does me, you can turn everything off with the visibility. Go to your empty bike layer, your empty keyframe on the bike layer, and then we're going to draw a simple circle. Oval tool is fine. Oval tool is fine. And then with your selection tool, right-click, scroll down up to convert to a symbol. Wheel or bike, we can just go ahead and make the whole bike there. Okay, so now it appears in our library, so we can use it again and again and again. So we right click and scroll down on the bike in your library, go to Edit, and here we are. Now, I don't need a fill, but I do need a stroke. And I would like to have that stroke about 5 points. Okay? Or pixels or whatever it is that it's doing here. Okay, we don't need the fill, as you know. And we do need the line tool because we're going to make different colors in our wheel. If you control plus, you can zoom in. Let's bring this puppy down. All right, one color is going to be red because we need to see the rotation, so we're going to have to go like this. Okay? All right, so deselect with your selection tool. I know it's a pain, but it works. Go back to the line tool, choose another color, this time blue. Okay? Awesome. Put the colors back. Control minus. Group. And we only need 5 keyframes for this one. F6 gets you your keyframe. Right click. Create classic tween. Free transform. And rotate 1, 2, and a half. Because if you rotate more than that, it will look like you didn't rotate it at all. Okay, awesome. Duplicate this layer. Control D. Oops. Right click, excuse me. Copy frames. Name this Wheel 1. New layer. Wheel 2. Edit paste. Oops. Excuse me, paste frames. So now we have 2. So if you highlight all of them, you should be able to pull it over here. Sometimes it doesn't work. It did not work. Okay. Let's get rid of these frames. Remove frames. All right, so where did this one end up? Okay, so we're right here. Just use your guidelines. Don't panic. I know. I've been doing this for 15 years, and sometimes it tricks me. Yeah, I'm too lazy to do it over again. I know. All right. So bring it over here. So now we have 2 wheels that are going in the same direction, supposedly. Now you can grab your line tool and make it a different color, I guess. Environmental green, I suppose, if you wish. I can't see it. Let's make it orange. We'll have an orange bike, a nice bright orange bike. There's your seat. Okay. That's fine. It doesn't have to be Harley quality, okay? All right, good enough. I'm not going to make a chain. I'll show you how to do that later. Excuse me. Scene 1. All right, so here we are. And we can free transform this puppy and make it a little smaller. Spacebar. Turn all of our elements on. And probably flip it this way. Yeah, you can do that. And then, if we, don't forget to pull down this thing so you can see all of your layers. Go to your bike. Insert F6. Create motion tween. And so where we're at there, we should be over here. Looks like I did it again. Okay, no problem. Remove layers, remove frames, insert keyframe. Create motion tween. Oy vey. There we go. And you say, wait a minute, how come the bird and the bike isn't moving? Oh, we got to give it a wheelie. F6. Move it up like this. Look at that puppy go. Control S, save your work. Control Enter. Oh, whoa, something happened. I love it. Ah, I didn't put the same design. I didn't, yeah, this is what happened. You got to save all of your pieces to your bike and make sure that they go together with the rest of the bike. So you go here, group it, copy. Just make it its own layer. Paste in place. And you can see it's not going to have any issues. Save it. And Control Enter. There we go. And then you have your beautiful Flash multimedia movie. Be sure to check the description and I can go ahead and supply you with these files. However, as you can tell, they're from a new file, so therefore it probably comes from a new file that you create. So join me next week and we will have more wonderful Flash tutorial stuff for you to learn. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.